right. Well, welcome back to part 2 of Dirt, Grit, and Stupid Shit Adventures in Real Estate. And I wanted to bring Wendy Leblanc back on here and go over some stuff. It's getting close to Halloween.
It is.
And so, in this state, we don't have to disclose murder, correct?
That is correct.
All right. So I know we're a civil law state, which makes us totally different than the United States.
Right.
Because they're all common law states.
This is true. Yeah.
Okay. So Mississippi, Arkansas, and Texas, right, border up to us, they all have to disclose if a murder was in a home.
I
correct?
didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I found that out because I'm licensed in Mississippi too. And Patricia over there in Texas told me. So, you ever had a spooky house or ghost house?
Yeah.
Or, not necessarily maybe a murder house, but have you ever had that in your 20-something years of coming across?
Yeah, I've had the
You want to tell me
spooky
about
ones.
it?
Yeah, spooky ones. And I have been in one where there was a murder.
Oh, Lord. No.
Yeah. Didn't realize that one until after. And I don't know that I felt any certain kind of way while I was in that one.
Yeah, I mean, people always ask, and and this is happening more now. They kind of always ask, well, you go to tell your buyer, well, this is a succession, we're in probate.
Yes.
Which means one of the sellers has passed away. And automatically the buyer goes,
Did they die in the house?
Did they die in the house? And all I want to say is, well, shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
But in this state, it don't matter. But to a lot of people, it does matter.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of that? Did they die in the house?
Yeah, definitely.
What do you say?
If I'm working with the buyer and they're asking me about it, I just explain to them that it's not something that the seller discloses. If it's that important to the buyer, we can always ask, but they need to understand that with the disclosure, and the reason that we don't have to disclose those things in Louisiana is in the way that Louisiana works as far as the real estate goes. They're only disclosing things that are about the property itself.
Right.
So it would be about the four walls and the land and everything that's going to stay with it. Whereas if someone passed away in the house for whatever reason, that's not something that technically affects the property, which is why. Since you had talked about like other states surrounding us having to disclose that, I just kind of wanted to take a second to say, okay, here's the logic behind it. Do I agree with it or not? Doesn't matter. It is what it is.
Right. I've got a property that's fixing to come on the market. And they told me yesterday, they said, well, the property line's here and here and here. And I've got the plat map and the subdividing and stuff. And right here is the pet cemetery. I'm like, excuse me? The pet cemetery. Well, that's where we bury so-and-so, so-and-so, and so. So if you just tell the buyers that's our little pet cemetery, we're good to go. I'm like, what the hell? Well, I got to tell. So I've never had that happen till yesterday.
No, I haven't had that.
You ever had that happen? Like,
No.
yeah, we got old Lulu and Fanny and April or whatever all buried back up in there. And I guess we're supposed to tell the buyer. I mean, I don't see how it affects property now. But I learned something. Someone buried, I learned this from another agent about a year ago. Someone buried an animal too close to their house, and it created termites.
Oh.
You ever heard of that?
No.
I think we should call a termite company. Find out about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I never really followed up with that. I just thought it was weird.
No, I didn't know about that. And you know what? I've never thought about the disclosing if you had buried a pet. Like I've never
I don't want you
asked that.
So let me tell you something else.
So now my brain's going nothing. I know you know me.
We're gonna figure that one out.
Yeah.
I will tell you something else. Talking about pet cemeteries and people. People always will. I mean, my mom and dad did it. And they're like, Rex is buried down there in the flooded house, and we miss him. I'm thinking he probably floated up, How do I say this without actually? So in Baton Rouge is right outside of Dental Springs. There was property I knew about, and it was a neighbor, and they went into foreclosure because I watched it, and then I watched an investor buy it. Then I watched it get rented. And then I watched the old owners come back and drive down the street. And they called me and they're like, hey, we'd like to go back to our old house. Why? You lost it in a foreclosure. Got a new investor. It's got tenants in it now. Why the hell you want to? What's wrong? Well, my wife and I got a divorce. Okay.
Yeah.
What's that got to do with me?
Yeah.
I mean, now listen, I wasn't the agent on this. So apparently, it's somewhere of somebody I know, right? And he says, well, I just want to, my wife is wondering if we can just go and dig up our firstborn.
Sorry, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Please tell me that it was a fur baby.
No. No. So I was pretty, what you did, I did.
Shut up.
Okay,
no.
You want me to shut up? I mean,
no. I mean, no, you are not serious right now.
Yeah. Oh I could actually take you to it.
No, I don't want to go to it.
I understand.
I don't want to know about it.
But I've never.
That's illegal, huh? Like,
I'm not an attorney.
Well, no, but
I don't know the law.
Well, okay, yeah, okay.
This is a long time ago. This is a story. It happened, but I don't even know what the rest of it is because what I told him was, look, dude, if you go on that property that you don't own anymore, you could get in trouble. Yeah. If you tell someone else this, you could get in trouble. So I'm just going to go back inside. Yeah. Pretend like I never heard.
Was this a big piece of property? Like I'm just this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And so I really, to be honest with you, I don't know what happened. That's the first time I've actually closed my door.
That's like a real estate urban legend.
I know, but I wasn't any part of the contract. Yeah. There wasn't a contract. It was a foreclosure between the bank and those people.
Oh my gosh.
And I watched it grow into many different things. Never, ever would you feel someone would drive down the street that used to own that home and say, hey, Sondra, I see there's no more tenants here. I like to go back there. And, my wife and I have divorced, and we like to get our firstborn. I was like, what the shit did he just tell me? And so long story short,
I'm like so
I talked to, I know, well, I talked to, look, you.
It's just like, oh.
You. You know what made it worse?
Let me just tell you what
made it worse.
I can't imagine what would make that worse.
Let me tell you what made it worse. It's that these people had 8 children. 8. On top of that, all they showed was Christian love. They were Christians. Now, everybody defines a Christian a different way, right? Everybody can identify different religions, right? Yeah. Catholic, Pentecostal. So, in my mind, I never thought that these Christians would bury their firstborn in the backyard and not tell nobody and then try to come back and get it years because they got a divorce. So, look, that's just weird.
Crazy.
I know.
That's crazy.
We talk about crazy shit we hear. And that wasn't even just because I was the neighborhood realtor, he thought he could just, confide in me. And
okay.
I'll tell you what I did.
That's probably haunted.
I left.
Yeah.
I made sure I left the neighborhood.
Bye.
And until he was gone.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, no. I just remembered that.
Oh my gosh.
I probably could pick the phone up and call that person. See what the end of the story was, but I've never done it.
Let's not.
I've never done it probably because I could never wrap my head around.
No.
Because back then, listen to my parents talk about how people didn't have money to bury, people. And some people just bury people in the backyard. Now, not here in Baton Rouge or Denham. I'm talking about in the rural areas. You know, I'm talking
Like
Kentwood, Amy, you know, the rural area. What's wrong?
What if the new owners want to put a pool in?
Okay, listen.
I mean,
okay,
then I'm thinking
it's like the
poltergeist.
pet cemetery,
Yeah, no.
right?
Okay, I know. But yeah, and they come across that.
Yeah, well, you ought to listen to the episode with me and Dawn and I. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Because Dawn, we were talking about how a house came down the river.
Yeah.
And it's one that I did sell, and then it collided with another one in that shoebox was that certificate, and they brought her back. I know you listened to it. That was crazy too. So we run across a lot of crazy stuff. So you know, let's just get off of that one. What other crazy stuff you've come across? I mean, because
we're talking about like spooky
it's like spooky houses, spooky situations. You ever showed a house and somebody's in it you didn't know was in it?
Oh yeah.
You ever had anybody in their birthday suit?
No. I've
Thank
had people
God
in their
I've never
underwear.
had.
Yeah.
Thank God I've never had anybody in their birthday suit. But I've heard
had
some agents.
I've had where the seller did shift work of some sort, and I scheduled the appointment. The appointment was approved, and I think maybe his schedule had changed, and he forgot to tell his realtor, and so I go in, and he comes flying out, and thankfully everything was covered, but he was like not happy, and I'm sitting. My client, of course, is like, okay, we're just gonna leave now. And I was like, damn it. Because this was the perfect house, and I just need you to not be here in your boxer shorts so I can sell this.
Well, he didn't communicate, It's okay.
He didn't.
It's hard to show houses when people work shift work. That is another thing.
Yeah.
And you have to respect that. But when there's lack of communication to get it on schedule so you're not running into these situations, because I ran into that situation with no birthday suits, but I ran into it to where they're asleep. That's the scariest thing. You walk in, I don't like opening doors. I don't do it anymore. See, I've flipped my real estate now. What I mean by that is I unlock the door, I open the door and go, y'all go on in, make yourself at home, look around. I don't have to show you where the kitchen and the toilet is. You pretty much know. I'm going to study other stuff. And I will stand in the middle of the kitchen now while everybody walks around. But it's scary to open up a bedroom door and somebody's in there sleeping.
Yeah. Or tenant occupied.
Oh, I hate that.
Properties.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Have you ever gone into a tenant occupied showing that they confirmed you could come, and there was a pot party going on?
Another pot. You and your pot.
I know.
Pot party.
It's either, it was like puff, puff, pass. There was like 5 people. And they're all sitting there, and they did no shame. They had zero shame. They did not even appear to be like where they were bothered that we had come in. It was just kind of like, here's what this is where we're at, this is what we're doing, and y'all can look around. Well, I was like, oh my God.
But that's where I've learned, and I say this a lot nowadays. When you own a piece of America, it's different. Not everybody can always own a piece of America because of their situation, finances or jobs, or a lot plays factor. But long as they own a piece of America, you find they take better care of it, of the property, because they're proud. Yeah. You're always proud of it, because then, when you go to vote, then property tax, and you're voting for this and this and that, right, can affect definitely your property taxing.
Oh yeah,
and what's going on. So owning a home is a total different entity than ever renting, because I've gone in plenty of tenant-occupied homes, and they just don't give a flying shit about the property.
They don't.
But they just feel they can call the land.
Yeah.
I didn't say all.
No. I'm correcting myself, because I'm saying they don't, but some do. There are some very good tenants out there, and we'd love to make homeowners out of you do, but but by and large, you're going to come across. It's bad.
I talked about on another episode also about, you ever heard of someone who has a lot of cash, want to borrow a little money from the lender, but got to be ran through a terrorist list to make sure they're not a terrorist? So, because they're trying to keep track of where the money's coming from. But I just recently, I refused a listing last month. You don't even know about it, but you're fixing to learn about it. I don't take every listing because it depends on what all these things that are factoring in. And I told the gentleman, I said, you have got to remove the pot plants. I can't have your pot trees in this closet. If you could just remove them, we can put you on the market. Well, I don't know if I could do that. They don't have no AC.
Lock the closet. Could he just get like a...
You know what happens when you lock the closet. What happens if he forgets to lock the closet?
Well, that's true.
And then here we go. Some agent's going to show it. Some client's going to see it. They're going to grab a leaf and put pass. Yeah. You can't do that. So me, as you get older and you're in...
No, I'm sorry. I've just got these flashes of Sondra on Cops.
Wait, whoa.
With her listing, people going, I did not
know. No. So I didn't take it.
Good for you.
I'm not going to because it's kind of hard. It would be really hard to explain in the comments because getting realtors to always read that is challenging.
Or if the buyer asked for the plants to remain at no value.
I can see that. That would be like, yeah, I'm sorry, sir, but you're going to have to now leave your pot plants.
Yes. How do we write this addendum? Yeah. And hopefully it wasn't going RD because now it's an income producing property.
You're bad. Oh my God, you're bad.
It's
you're
true.
Bad. But I have a closing going on in
do I know about
Charlotte? No, it's not in this state because remember I'm licensed in Mississippi too.
Then that's Mr. Davis's problem.
That's right. Well, I've got to close in next week on that. And great client of mine, great friend of mine, and one of the questions we have to ask if our buyer is asking us to ask questions to the listing agent, and I just said, look, man, what's the rules about growing a big pot? Pots, about a pot plants. How do you even say that? Marijuana plants on this property. Is it okay to do that?
Pot farm.
You know what he told me? He said, just don't put it too close to the road because there's no guarantee it's going to still be there. I told her that. Bam, we closed it. So, every situation is different. I know we make fun of some things, but every state and stuff is different. But some of the stuff, like that dude, growing it inside the house, that's a total different. I just didn't want any part of that.
I'm just thinking of a closet and the plants. I don't know how many. I can't.
I'm going to show you a picture later on.
That makes
You'll be very proud of me.
I don't want to be an accessory to your...
You make it sad.
Right now, I don't know anything really about it. You could have made this all up. If you start showing me photo evidence, we have a problem.
Well, I didn't take the listing, but if anybody out there would like it... I'm not taking it. That's for sure. So Halloween's right around the corner.
Yes.
We were talking about some spooky stuff. What do you? Well, let me just ask you something. Spooky ghosts, murders. You said you came across a property where someone was murdered.
Yes. Yeah. It was it's a house in Livingston Parish.
Okay.
I'm not going to say
you can't.
City.
No.
And it was a murder-suicide husband. He had shot his wife and attempted to kill himself. And I didn't know it until the buyer asked me specifically, Google the address and make sure nothing weird's ever happened here.
Right.
And I did.
And boom.
It did, and so, I was like, oh gosh, okay, so what do I do? And so all I told the client was, I've Googled the address. I don't know the definition of what you're looking for as far as anything odd or weird or whatever. So I would just suggest that you Google the address. And she did, and then she's like, nope. I was like, okay.
Well, because you can Google anything nowadays.
You can. You can Google a lot of stuff. Google can be your best friend or your worst
enemy.
Yes.
Right. That's right. So, and then, in this business, and I love what, I had an early phone call this morning from an agent in Mississippi that I'm training, and she was on a listing appointment yesterday, and she tells me, Sondra, I remember what you said, even though they're my relatives. Buyers are liars and sellers are worse. It's an old saying in this business. buyers can be liars. Like, I'm approved. I promise you I'm approved. I just don't have that letter from the lender yet. Or sellers are worse, as in there's not a foundation problem. All I did was put a little mortar right through that brick. That's just, it was cracking a little bit. Mm-hmm. So you got to be aware of these things. And, but we don't learn as listing agents, because that's mainly what I am now.
Yes.
For the last 12 years here. And I only, of course, my buyers are all referrals off of my SOI, which is Sphere of Influence. So I live off of people that trust and love me, because I love them back, right? Mm-hmm. So they don't always tell you, because sometimes they forget. So I've sold, and I didn't know, land and home out in the Walker area, which is right outside of Dental Springs. Mm-hmm. And the neighbor ended up buying it. Like, neighbor is on the street somewhere. And, he said, look, you don't have that piece of paper for me to sign. I mean, the girl hung herself on the back deck there on the back patio. I'm like, what? So, remember, we don't have to disclose murder, but I didn't know about it. And then I went to my seller and said, hey, what happened here? And they just broke down crying. It was her granddaughter, and it was a total. See, that's a total different entity. So you learn stuff as you have moving parts to a transaction. So that's why I don't feel it's always important, and I'm glad the state doesn't disclose murder, because everybody would just have a different opinion.
Well, I mean,
of stuff. People form opinions of people really quick. Mm-hmm. You see somebody, I used to sell cars for almost 18 years.
Wow.
And I was bad about it. I judged people. Man, this one guy, he walked up. You would thought he was on a Green Acre show. The overalls. Mm-hmm. Didn't brush his teeth, had a few missing.
He had cash money.
Dad, that son of a bitch paid cash for his truck. Mm-hmm. That's the last time I judged somebody.
Yep.
We're all human. Mm-hmm. And we're all going to mess up. Mm-hmm. Just as long as we're transparent about it.
Right.
And you learn something from what you did wrong.
Absolutely.
Right? So I learned something from what I definitely did wrong, and that was like, man, don't judge that dude.
Yeah, no.
So now I'm looking for all the people in overalls, flip-flops. Those people they got the cash.
Got a lot of them.
They definitely got the cash. And so just speaking of that, so let me ask you something. So Halloween, yes. do you get a lot of sales around that time, people?
I think this is when you start seeing the market pick back up every year, at least for me.
Me too.
Yeah.
And why is that?
I think, honestly, maybe not so much in Baton Rouge, but I know that in Livingston Parish, and I'll just speak to that because that's where I've lived for a very long time, and it's predominantly where I've had my entire real estate career. It's pretty much been out here. Mm-hmm. So you've got everybody moving for school.
Right.
Okay. Right. So I tell people all the time, if you're not on the market by June 1st, you've missed the summertime sale-a-thon. August 1st is going to hit. Mm-hmm. Everything backs off. Parents have already got their kids in school. Parents are looking. You might have a few stragglers, but not as many. They're still kind of getting everything back into, people are getting back into the school stuff and the kids' schedule and all. People love to have the new home for Thanksgiving
or Christmas.
So they start looking at the beginning of October.
That's true. Very, very true.
So now, and I will say this, it's like when you're showing houses, you see all this crazy stuff. And I think that, like Christmas time is one of my favorite times to show properties because you got the trees and the decorations and the houses just look, I think, really pretty.
Like home.
Yes. Halloween can be a different animal because some people celebrate it and some people don't. Right. My daughter is an October birthday. Halloween has always been her favorite, and it literally looks like Halloween threw up all over my house. There is stuff everywhere. The whole thing set up on the fireplace, and I've got like 5 or 6 huge. We just got a new inflatable yesterday. He's 9 feet tall. But someone else that might be looking for a property, and let's say mine's on the market, and they drive up and they see things hanging from the trees and all this, that, and the other, and the little tombstones and the skeletons. And they may not like that, So it's kind of hard, I think, at Halloween time.
But I have always been the busiest. From September to December. We are in October. And like I tried to train other agents, we are less than 90 days away from the end of the year.
Yeah.
When I say less, it's because we have holidays in every month to the end of the year. Yeah. And those holidays take away from the business days. Forget the calendar days, because that's always 7 days a week. But the business days take away with short.
Oh yeah, we're way down.
Way
under 90.
It goes, and it takes 30 days normally to close, or 35.
Yeah.
Sometimes. And then some people like, oh, I don't want to move during the Christmas holidays, or I don't want to do this, but that's your busiest time.
Yeah.
I have always found that's when the seller can make the most money. Yeah. I don't know why that is.
And I find that you'll get sellers that say, oh, well, nobody's going to buy during the holidays. I'm
really?
Yes, they will.
Yes,
they will.
But only with realtors that will work during that time.
Oh, yeah. And it's my favorite time to work.
Me too.
I don't know that I have a not favorite time to work, though.
I don't like working in the summertime.
I don't mind working. I'll put it this way. My favorite time to work is when I'm working with people that got money that can do something. I mean, we're just going to keep it real. Yes. My favorite time to work is when they're going to get paid. So. So I'll work all year. I don't care. But I do love working right around the holidays, because people are just, I think in general, they're just in a better mood, a little more cheerful. The weather's hit or miss. I mean, we're in South Louisiana. It's either going to be gorgeous like it has been for the past few days, say a few days, about a week or so now. I mean, we have really nice weather. Or it's going to be rainy and cold, or what we call cold. But I just love it. I find people are easier to deal with. I would much rather show houses than try to Christmas shop and be caught in traffic.
I don't do that shopping.
Yeah, no, everything's online. Everything's online.
Everything is online.
Yes. My time is more valuable.
Right.
Then, I do my online stuff, and if I get out, I'm going to show property. That's what I want to do.
Okay, well, I'm remember to call you.
You can call me.
Because people want to go see some properties.
Oh, my goodness.
Especially if it's cold, I don't like that. I don't like that cold stuff.
I've shown properties for you before. I'll do it. That's fine.
Don't drop me in the grease like that now.
No, drop me in the grease. Lord.
All right, so so you got no more haunted houses? Have you ever had anybody ask you if this house is haunted?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you answer that question?
I don't know how to answer
that question. How the hell am I going to know if this thing's haunted?
I'm like, well, I don't even know the kind of inspector to call for that. A specter inspector.
You call Ghostbusters. You don't call it inspector. Call it Ghostbusters, not the inspector.
Hey,
what's the inspector going to do? Let's do this.
Hey, there's a thought. We could get Ghostbuster costumes for Halloween. That's what we'll start showing properties with, checking it out. I have no idea.
We can make a video like that.
Yeah. I have no idea if, something's haunted or not. And hey, they might not mind me and leave me alone, but you could move in and they might not like you. I don't know. So I can't speak for the ghosts. They don't speak to me.
They don't speak to me either, but I hope there's some psychics out there watching this, because, some of these psychics, I believe in a lot of some of those people, they can see it, and I'm just not one of those.
Now, I will say this.
What?
There are people that love the idea of a haunted house. So
I know.
If I were to ever get one, like for a listing, that I don't know how you prove it, but
I don't either.
That has a good track record of showing, hey, something's going on here, like like they have at the Myrtles, and like stuff's happened.
What's the Myrtle?
Or whatever. The Myrtles.
Well, the Myrtles for the listeners, they don't know what the Myrtles. I know.
Plantation. It's if you Google that, it's in St. Francisville, and it's one of the most haunted.
Houses, plantations, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it a haunted plantation?
Yeah, because the
I've never been, because I don't like to get scared.
Yeah. So
see, Halloween's not my big thing. Like what I'm going to do is just sit at the end of my driveway, pass out my candy that's bagged up with stuff, and then over here you got to take care of the adults, so they get Jello shots or beer or something.
Yeah, just make sure them kids don't think that Jello's for them.
I've already told you that's not going to happen.
We discussed it.
It's not going to happen. And then I can handle the skeletons and pumpkins, but you go putting Dracula and blood. Look, that's the summer thing.
Don't drive by my house right now.
Oh, Lord.
It's not so bad. He's just a 9-foot tall Grim Reaper holding a head. And
No. But Christmas?
Yeah.
Big time.
Oh, I do love. I love to decorate for Christmas. I think homes look so beautiful. One of the things that I tell agents to do all the time, and sellers, if you have your house has already been on the market and it's time for Christmas and you put lights out and everything, get some new photos. Let's get them online. I think that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's photographs are great. Right around the holidays.
And then can I go ahead and say about Christmas lights on your house? Pretty.
Yeah.
But not year round. Okay, let's go ahead and clarify that.
Yeah, probably want to take them down.
Some people
want to take them down.
Mardi Gras is early this year too.
Yeah.
February 18th.
Yeah. And that's my favorite is when they put up the green lights outside and then they leave it because it's Mardi Gras time. Yeah.
Because not all the listeners understand, but like our Christmas trees that we do, you can still keep that Christmas tree, take out those red and greens and put in that purple, yellow, and green and turn it into Mardi Gras. Yeah. And just keep going. So, we're kind of crazy here.
Yeah, I know people that I've shown houses and I have friends that they keep the tree up all year long.
Say what?
They just change. They'll do the Christmas tree, and then it becomes the Mardi Gras tree. Then it becomes the Easter tree. Okay. Then the 4th of July tree. Then
Is it a fake tree?
Yes.
Oh, just checking. Making sure it wasn't a real tree. That'd be like
that'd be like, where'd you buy that?
Like Charlie Brown at the end.
Or if it lasted that long, I mean, I need to know where you got your tree because you got your money's worth. Shout out!
Bitch be catching on fire and be a twig tree.
Yeah, that would not be good. No, we do not. Yeah, no, we're not saying do that. But no, as far as any other haunted stuff, no. But you get asked a lot. I mean,
we get asked all the time.
You do get asked, especially older homes, like really old homes down at like the downtown Baton Rouge area, which those homes are beautiful.
Oh, I know the shotgun houses with the old lattice work and the carpentry that's hand done. The quality back then was just totally different, apples and oranges, than it is today. Yeah. But a lot of. Some of those old shotgun houses were also slavery homes that might have been pulled over from across the river in West Baton Rouge. I mean, I've had that happen before, too. So that'd be something else to talk about also.
Yeah, that would.
It would be.
How, real estate and how all of that got shaped into it. And all that. It'd be interesting.
It would be.
But, so no, I've never been. Have I been in a house where like a door slammed? Yeah.
Me too. You know what I think it is? Foundation problem. That's why I always take the door and put it in the middle, and then if it goes this way or this way, I'm like, we're not level. That's all.
Okay, so you're sitting there with your buyer, and you're like, okay, do I say it's a foundation problem or it's haunted? Which one's gonna?
I don't say it's haunted because I don't know. I can't feel it. I don't know. No.
To me, I'm like, okay. No. To me, foundation problem is more scary than maybe it's haunted.
No. No. Are you crazy?
You might can have the priest or somebody come out and get rid of the haunting, but, it's going to cost a lot of money to get, I'm just saying.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, what happens if that ghost don't ever want to leave?
They were there first.
I tell people that all the time.
They were there first.
They're like, Sondra, when you're dead and gone, you're going to come back and haunt me. The only thing I'm going to do, once I pass away, I'm just going to make sure somebody gets my phone number. Because that phone rings and more than you can, more than I can handle. I have 2 phones, so I'll make sure someone gets that number that I really, really like.
I forgot that you've got the second phone number now for Mississippi.
Yep, sure do.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's wrap it up. I thank you for coming on
I had fun.
Dirt, Grit, and Stupid Shit Adventures in Real Estate. I hope people have learned something about haunted houses and how we get asked for murder and all that stuff. But so thank you so much.
Thank you.
All righty.
Bye.